While we wait for what's happening inside the Supreme Court, and you'll hear about that verdict first here on India Today, the man who led Pakistan to its World Cup victory, its maiden World Cup ecstasy, the man who was to lead the country in a new avatar, calling it a Naya Pakistan, the man who made such extravagant promises of taking his country out of a medieval era and into a new divine aura, is a man who is seen to have failed on many counts. But in the next few minutes, his fate will be sealed one way or the other. Here's a look at Prime Minister Imran Khan so far.
On the day Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered his troops to march into Ukraine, he had a visitor. The Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan came calling. For the first time in 23 years, a Prime Minister from Pakistan had paid a visit to the Kremlin.
What a time I've come. So much excitement.
The scheduled meeting was for 1 hour, but it stretched to 3. It was the beginning of Putin's Russia being cornered by the Western powers. And Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's visit turned out to be a show of solidarity. It served both parties, because back home in Pakistan, Imran Khan too was being cornered politically by a united opposition.
ये नए पाकिस्तान की शुरुआत है, जिस हमारे नए पाकिस्तान में बड़े-बड़े डाकू अब से असेंबलियों में नहीं जाएंगे, वजीर नहीं बनेंगे, वजीर आजम नहीं बनेगा, सदर नहीं बनेगा, बड़े-बड़े डाकू अब जेलों में जाएंगे.
The man who came to power promising a Naya Pakistan or a new Pakistan, halfway into his term as the 22nd Prime Minister, is facing removal. Pakistan's economy is in deep crisis. The pandemic has not helped. And the prosecution of opposition leaders added to Imran Khan's dwindling popularity.
पुलिस के थ्रू उन्होंने पार्लिमानी लॉजेस पे हमला करके शो ऑफ फोर्स किया, और जो धमकी खान साहब 27 फरवरी का दे रहे हैं कि अगर कोई मेंबर ने अपना वोट का हक इस्तेमाल करना है तो उनके कारकुन के बीच से जाना पड़ेगा, वो भी एक थ्रेट है यूज ऑफ फोर्स का.
The Prime Minister of Pakistan responded with his own jibes.
गवर्नमेंट बचाने के लिए ये जो थ्री स्टूजेस वाली ऑपोजिशन है, जिसमें चेरी ब्लॉसम भी एक है, पहले दिन से ब्लैकमेल करने की कोशिश है. जब मौका मिलता है हुकूमत को गिराने की सिर्फ एक वजह से कोशिश करते हैं कि जनाब हम कोई खास अल्लाह के मखलूक हैं, हम चोरी करें, डाका मारें, इनको कोई खास ऐसी मखलूक है कि इनको सब कुछ माफ हो जाना चाहिए.
Cornered at home, Imran Khan showed a brave face to the world. At the recent Organization of Islamic Cooperation meet held in Islamabad, Imran Khan urged leaders of the Islamic nations to mediate in the war in Ukraine.
May I suggest that the OIC, during its discussions, the foreign ministers, we should think about how we, represent 1.5 billion people, how we can mediate, how we can bring about a ceasefire, how we can try and put an end to the conflict. I'm going to meet His Excellency Wang Yi after this, and I want to discuss how maybe OIC along with China, how we can all step in and try to stop this conflict, which is going to have, if it keeps going the way it is, it will have great consequences for the rest of the world.
But however much Imran Khan puts up a brave face looking outwards, inwards at home, the rallies against him only keep growing. Because just like in a jungle, in politics too, the opponents have smelt blood. And the opposition parties of Pakistan are not going to let up till Imran Khan's fate gets decided on the floor of the House.
From the time that Imran Khan was a cricketer right through his personal life and his time as the Prime Minister, he's never ever really had a breather from controversies. His entire life, his career has literally been one string of controversies, one after the other. Take a look. We strung them all together for you because that also paints a story of Imran Khan.
Imran Khan, the man in the spotlight, is surely having sleepless nights. His future as Prime Minister of Pakistan looks bleak, and no amount of damage control at this point could revive his prospects. This brings us to think, how well did Imran Khan fare as a world leader? Well, the number of controversies and slip-ups the cricketing demigod has been involved in while in power has made him the prime target of social media trolls. Let's start with Imran Khan's knowledge in geography. In 2018, during a speech at the Envoys Conference on Economic Diplomacy in Islamabad, Imran Khan referred to Arica, a port city in Chile, as an emerging country. At another official event in Tehran, Imran alluded that Japan and Germany share borders.
On the border region of Germany and Japan, they had joint industries. So now there's no question of them ever having bad relations because their economic interests are tied together.
Unfortunately, Imran Khan's struggle with basic physics was also out in the open when in 2018, in an attempt to praise China, Imran Khan said China has launched trains that run faster than light.
China में यही सफर 4 घंटे में यानी कराची से लाहौर पहुंचना चाइनीज की जो अब ट्रेन चल रही है वो 4 घंटे में पहुंचा देती है और वो जो अगली ट्रेन बना रहे हैं वो शायद 2 घंटे में पहुंचा दें क्योंकि वो स्पीड की लाइट से भी ज्यादा तेज अगली ट्रेन्स डेवलप हो रही हैं.
Imran Khan's math appears to be poor too. While speaking at an event and glorifying New Zealand's victory in the World Test Championships final, the former cricketer got India's population embarrassingly wrong.
1 अरब 300 करोड़ आबादी है, उनको उन्होंने वर्ल्ड टेस्ट क्रिकेट की चैंपियनशिप हरा दी.
Respecting women and their choices is not something Imran Khan can boast of. In an interview with HBO, Imran said, "Women with little clothes instigate men." He then tried to backtrack, saying he would never say something like that.
If a woman is wearing very few clothes, it will have an impact on the men, unless they're robots. I mean, it's common sense.
Allegations of sexual harassment haunted Imran Khan in 2017. His party member, Aisha Gulelai, accused him of sending obscene text messages to women members of the party. While quitting the party, Aisha said the honor of women associated with Imran Khan's party was not safe. If anything, Imran Khan has managed to successfully maintain his Casanova image all through his oscillating career. In fact, his second wife, Reham Khan, in her autobiography has claimed that Imran confessed that he had fathered at least 5 illegitimate children, some of them Indian. Imran was a bachelor for the first 42 years of his life. In the years that followed, he married thrice. Ironically, for the playboy image attached to Imran, each of his wives turned out to be more conservative than the other. His first wife, Jemima, had her hair open. Second wife, Reham, partially covered her hair. And third wife, Bushra Bibi, covers herself fully, including the face. Now, public information confirms that Imran Khan has 2 children with first wife, Jemima Goldsmith. Unfortunately for him, he was heavily trolled for getting married to the British heiress, who was half his age. The Pakistan Prime Minister also faced international scrutiny in the 90s after British girlfriend Sita White claimed that Imran was the father of her daughter. Imran denied the claims, which led to a bitter legal battle until a Los Angeles court ruled that the 4-year-old girl was indeed Imran's biological daughter. He was finally forced to accept it. Some revelations made by Imran Khan's second wife, Reham, are cringeworthy. In her autobiography, Reham states Imran was obsessed with black magic and claims she caught him rubbing black lentils all over his naked body to ward off evil eye. Well, it looks like Imran Khan has surely mastered the art of blissful ignorance. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's take you straight to Pakistan now and get a view as we build up to this much-awaited Supreme Court judgment that's expected in just perhaps 15, 20 minutes from now. Joining me live from Islamabad is Fareed Malik. He's an ideologue of Imran Khan's party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Mr. Malik, welcome. Good evening to you. Thank you for your time on this day. I'm sure you are also waiting eagerly to see what the Supreme Court has to say. We do know that the Chief Justice is going to be ruling specifically, sir, on the legality or illegality of what the Deputy Speaker of the Pakistan National Assembly did when he basically scrapped the no trust motion. What is your understanding of what is before the Supreme Court and what their verdict will result in, whichever way it goes, Mr. Malik?
Before I give my comments, I'm very disturbed by the profile you have presented of Imran Khan. It's a very negative profile. You've compiled all the negatives of his life without highlighting any positives of his life.
I don't think you saw the first report then, sir. I don't think you saw the first report. The first report was a profile.
Honesty and integrity to our politics, and that has not been highlighted at all.
No.
All is negative. Highlighted
Mr. Malik, you have every right to be offended, sir. But just to clarify to you, with greatest respect, our first report was a profile of your leader. The second one was about all the controversies. Surely you would agree that controversies are also part of every politician's life. There was no disrespect meant. Imran Khan has a lot of fans here in India. We are only profiling him, sir.
Imran Khan brings honesty and integrity to our politics. A parliament, an irrelevant parliament composed of thugs and thieves. He is an honest and upright individual.
Fair enough, Mr. Malik. Now, will you answer my question? Your understanding of what the Supreme Court, what the Supreme Court's verdict will basically mean today? Because they are basically looking at the legality of what the Deputy Speaker basically did.
All his negatives of his life. That is not right.
Mr. Malik, please calm down. Please calm down. I think you need to have a little bit of a thicker skin when you're in public life, sir. I'm asking you a specific question. I'm asking you a specific question.
Pakistan, well-respected, popular, honorable leader of Pakistan.
Do you want to spend the next half an hour being offended, or do you want to answer my question, Mr. Malik, with the greatest of respect?
I will answer your question, but I want to record my protest also.
It's recorded. Please proceed. Recorded. Please proceed.
Yes. Okay. Please put your question again.
My question to you is, the Supreme Court of Pakistan is now looking basically specifically at the legality of what the Deputy Speaker did in the National Assembly, sir, by scrapping the no trust motion, which basically allowed the Imran Khan government via the President to dissolve the National Assembly. My question to you is, what is your understanding of what impact the Supreme Court's verdict, one way or the other, will have going forward? Just by way of explaining to us what it could mean, sir.
Sir, actually, I think the way forward are free and fair elections. And that is the direction that I believe the court is also taking. Now, the issue of the ruling of the Speaker, that is a matter of legality. The court is looking at it. Even if the court rules that the Deputy Speaker overstepped his jurisdiction or his legal jurisdiction, I still think we are heading towards an election and an interim government.
But Mr. Malik, if they deem what the Deputy Speaker did as not legal, will that not mean that the no trust motion will have to happen?
No, I don't think so. I think in the House, the Speaker has a right to give his ruling. Now, there are no specific limits on his ruling. So it may be construed that he may have overstepped some of his efforts. But nevertheless, now that a lot of water has flown under the bridge, the assemblies have been dissolved, the election process has started, I think the logical way forward is free and fair election, and that's the direction the court is going to take. That's my opinion.
Chief Justice Umar Ata Bandial, he's the Chief Justice of the Pakistan Supreme Court, and I'd like to welcome Sadia Khan of the PML Nawaz onto our show as well. Sadia ji, welcome. Your understanding, Sadia, of what is before Chief Justice Bandial right now, the legality of scrapping that no trust motion is before the Chief Justice. They are going to rule on whether the Deputy Speaker acted legally within the Constitution or whether it was illegal and unconstitutional. Fareed Malik says it will not matter. The verdict will not matter elections will still happen. What is your understanding, ma'am? Won't it mean, Saadia Khan, that there will be a no trust motion if the Supreme Court so decides?
Well, this is quite surprising if for my respected colleague. It's like if he doesn't, if he thinks that it doesn't matter that what is legality of Imran Khan's decision to dissolve assemblies. Actually, it is totally out of constitution. According to constitution, that 7th day, when we have moved no confidence movement, he have to go for debate and voting. But unfortunately, he suspended assemblies and he used Article 5A. And that is totally out of constitution. That is totally out of question. And you know, not only me, my party, everybody in opposition and population of Pakistan, masses of Pakistan, everybody is looking towards Supreme Court of Pakistan. Then hopefully they'll go according to Constitution of Pakistan. They'll see what is status of Imran Khan's decision to dissolve assemblies right on the moment without any reason. Like there's no security threat and not threat of not any threat of government, any threat to his government via that Lettergate scandal. And you know, National Security Council have also shown its concern that we are concerned about appearance of that letter, but still it doesn't have to do with threat to Imran Khan government. But still, you know, it's questionable that why Imran Khan dissolved assembly and he used his right and Deputy Speaker of National Assembly that either it was right in the according to Constitution of Pakistan that they should dissolve assembly. No, but we have to go for no confidence movement.
Saadia,
we have to go into no.
I understand. You're saying that this. Let me just stop you there for a moment. You're saying that depending on what the Supreme Court rules right now, the no trust motion will have to happen. But you know, there is also a lot of tamasha going on. The Election Commission, Saadia.
The Election Commission
says that early elections cannot happen. 6 months. Yes, they say that the early elections cannot happen.
After 6 months.
But you have Fawad Chaudhry. Who has spoken to India today and said, no matter what the Supreme Court says, early elections will happen. He has said, no matter what the Supreme Court says. That is in a way what Mr. Malik is also saying. Doesn't matter what the Supreme Court says, there will be no trust vote.
Fawad Chaudhry's statement doesn't matter in front of Supreme Court verdict or decision, whatever it will come in favor or against our plea. But still, you know, I'm surprised that why Imran Khan's ex-cabinet minister is giving this nonsense statement about happening of elections in Pakistan. Election Commission said there's lots of matters which are pending. That is related to voter list. That is related to different surveys happening in Pakistan according to voter list. They have not worked over it. Even Imran Khan's government was not ready or prepared for early elections. But now they are just trying to save their face. They want a safe exit. And they are making some lame excuses and accusing foreign hands that it was a threat to their government, and that's why they have dissolved assemblies.
We'll come to the foreign hand element in just a moment.
According to Constitution.
Okay, Farid Malik, I'm trying to understand. Help us understand this. Farid Saab. How are you saying, how is Fawad Chaudhry saying that it doesn't matter what the Supreme Court says? There will be no trust motion, elections will happen early. Obviously what the Supreme Court says will have to dictate what happens, sir.
Well, see, you have to understand that the parliament in Pakistan since 1977 has been irrelevant and redundant. Even if the assemblies are restored, PTI members can resign en bloc, and that will automatically lead to an election. There is no way that the elections can be stopped. If 150 members of the parliament resign, you can't hold by-election on 150 seats. The point is, elections will be held, and there's no confidence motion. I mean, this is out of the blue. It was totally uncalled for.
But Farid Saab, the elections have been called thanks to the dissolution of the assembly. Isn't that correct, sir? The dissolution of the assembly was the dissolution of the assembly, paving the way for those elections, was facilitated because the no trust motion was blocked, sir. And that is what is in front of the Supreme Court right now. If the Supreme Court rules that the scrapping of the no trust motion was unconstitutional, then the dissolution of the assembly becomes infructuous, doesn't it? Help me understand
this timing of the no this timing of the no trust motion is totally obnoxious. It was uncalled for, unrequired, and is definitely foreign hand behind it.
But that is for the Supreme Court to decide now.
Pardon?
But isn't that what the Supreme Court will decide, sir? The Supreme Court will decide whether it was unconstitutional. Very specific. The Supreme Court is only going to decide whether the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly was right or wrong in stopping the no trust motion. He is not getting into anything else.
I don't think. I think that will be a holistic decision. They might agree that they overstepped his authority, but they will also at the same time they will say that because the election process has started. Yeah. So that has happened so many times in Pakistan before. Only one assembly in the history of Pakistan has been restored. Otherwise, the assemblies have never been restored in Pakistan. That is the history.
So, Sadia Khan, that means that the Supreme Court verdict may not be a victory for the opposition, depending on what happens. Fareed Malik's understanding is the Supreme Court might rap the Deputy Speaker on the knuckles and say you overstepped your remit by scrapping the no trust motion, but the elections will be allowed to happen. He says this has happened before in Pakistan. It can happen now. It can be a hybrid judgment where nobody really gains in any sense.
Well, we should wait for Supreme Court's decision first. Second is like the Supreme Court is not going to listen Mr. Malik or Fawad's statement. Like they have to go according to Constitution of Pakistan. They have to go. I think they took 3-4 days and they're looking into matter deeply. And if we should go back a few days, like when Deputy Speaker was reading statement, and he said me Asad Kaisar, like. He took name of a speaker who's not present at the moment, and opposition have shown no confidence on speaker as well. So you can see they have prepared all these things. Now Mr. Malik is saying that if Supreme Court's ruling is against Imran Khan's government, ex-Prime Minister's government, then they will resign from Parliament. It means they have prepared these cards. Like first, we have disillusioned government. Second, now we have card of resigning from Assembly. Whosoever of the remaining members Imran Khan have in his court, they'll be going to resign. So it means they don't want to go into confidence movement. They have no confidence to face this no confidence movement. Like we already have majority, we had majority and we were going to win. But unfortunately, it could not happen, and Imran Khan has.
And like you rightly said, we'll have to wait to see what the Supreme Court says. Ultimately, what the Supreme Court says in the next 10-15 minutes, perhaps, will make all the difference. Thank you very much, Sadia Khan and Fareed Malik, for joining me here on this quick discussion as we build up to what the Supreme Court is going to rule. Now, remember, before Imran Khan became Prime Minister of Pakistan, he was a fierce and very, very visible opposition leader who rallied the youth of Pakistan, the downtrodden, to vote for his novice political party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. From 1997 to 2018, it was a story of the transition of a world-class cricketer to a politician. How did he do? Take a look.
आप रिजाइन नहीं कर रहे और इसलिए मियां साहब हम यहां से नहीं जा रहे जब तक आप रिजाइन नहीं करेंगे.
Before he became the Prime Minister, Imran Khan was the vociferous leader of the opposition who fought for the people of Pakistan.
ये डाकू मुल्क को दोनों हाथों से लूट रहे हैं. हमारे पास पैसा नहीं है मुल्क चलाने के लिए. कर्जों में ये मुल्क डूब रहा है और जी वो बच्चे स्कूल में नहीं जाएंगे. 2.5 करोड़ बच्चा स्कूलों में नहीं जा रहा. वो बेचारे इस मुल्क के शहरी नहीं है. हमें शर्म नहीं आती. 35% बच्चों को मेलन्यूट्रिशन है. मेलन्यूट्रिशन का मतलब बीमारियां हैं कि खुराक नहीं मिल रही पूरी. और आज ही इस्लामाबाद में मुश्किल पड़ेगी जी. वो स्कूलों में जाएंगे. ये वो लोग हैं जो पैसा बना रहे हैं इस करप्ट निजाम से.
In 1997, Imran Khan had founded his political party Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, and stood for elections to the National Assembly of Pakistan. He contested from 2 constituencies, that of Mianwali and Lahore, and lost both of them. It would be 5 more years before Imran Khan could get himself elected to the National Assembly from Mianwali. It was also the lone seat for his party PTI. Imran Khan spent the next 5 years consolidating his role as a valid political option for the voters of Pakistan. The PTI boycotted the 2008 elections, alleging that it was being rigged. At the same time, Imran hit the streets in a campaign to mobilize the youth and public opinion against the established political leadership of the Bhutto Zardaris and the Sharifs. Imran offered hope to a young generation of voters who were seeking change. Sensing the mood, many leaders from the Sharif and Bhutto camps began to jump ship, adding to the groundswell building up behind Imran. Despite a high-voltage campaign, Imran Khan's stars were still to align, and 2013 was not going to be the year when he would dominate. His strong electoral rallies and an accidental fall, followed by a last-minute appeal to voters from the hospital bed, got his party 34 out of the 99 seats that the PTI contested. For the first time ever, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf emerged as the major opposition in the National Assembly of Pakistan. Charged by the unprecedented and swift success that he was enjoying, Imran Khan went on the offensive. He launched his Azadi campaign against the Nawaz Sharif government. Protesters led by Imran Khan and his ally, the Canadian Pakistani cleric Mohammad Tahir-ul-Qadri, camped outside Parliament for more than 2 weeks in August 2014. They were demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. The demand never changed, and Imran Khan never let up. He kept the momentum going, agitating against not only the PMLN Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, but also the Bhutto Zardari clan at the head of the PPP.
The problem we are facing is that political parties don't have democracy in them. They are family parties.
In 2018, success was finally his, as Imran Khan, the comparative political novice, defeated the two parties that had always been at the helm of Pakistani affairs. In the elections that year, Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf became the single largest party in the House. And though short of absolute majority, he did manage to cobble a coalition that formed the government. Imran Khan once again donned the cap of the captain. This time, not that of the Pakistan cricket team, but of Pakistan itself.